There is no real guarantee that this pump's going to even work. Hasn't been used in a very long time since nobody uses this building currently, which makes things kind of degenerate. If it doesn't work, I have no other option for taking a shower. So this is a difficult one in any case. Let's see if it works. Well, the pump is actually operating. Then the question is any water going actually up to the tank? Well, let's find out. We're going to have to do that the hard way. So I have to go up there, and I'm scared shitless of ladders. I've been injured on ladders in high places before, and I'm really not flexible, so I shouldn't be doing this, but I don't got a lot of options, you know? I can hear the water going up into it. Good. So that's as high as I had to get. The noise of the generator makes it hard to hear. Now I used to run this pump on my solar power, so I guess it's not a big surprise that this generator is big enough to run it. Ideally, all the pumps will be 12-volt pumps, and they would be set up, all the cisterns should be set up in place where it's easy to check them. In fact, any future architecture will make it really easy to maintain all systems, because what happens is that kind of alternative energy solutions are put in as an afterthought. And of course it makes sense because most buildings were built before there were these other alternatives, and so they kind of get retrofitted onto them. And repeatedly you'll hear me say, I don't like retrofitting. Everything is built wrong. Abso-fucking-lutely wrong. So it makes a pain in the ass to change out your solar batteries or even check them, or your solar power system. I've got a ladder for that too. You're capturing water at the same place you want to use it instead of uphill where it would drain down without a pump. You should never even have to use a pump. Pumps should be not something you ever need to use if things were designed properly. Also, my buildings should all be capturing rainwater, which they currently don't. So I don't have enough storage. That's the expensive part. So I'm capturing like under 10% of what I could be capturing, and I'm planning to build a lot more buildings. But the new buildings will be built in ways that make it easy to do full rain capture, including when there's a massive storm. Because when there's a massive storm, even the gutters will overflow, and then you're losing the best water. The biggest time when there's the most water, you lose it. So we have to build really huge gutters that aren't even these little metal ones here. And those are better than some. Look like they're all dirty and stuff with moss growing on them and they fill up with shit. No, they should be on concrete roofs with a big, huge curved area that you can walk along and sweep it out. And no trees are above it, right? Because your buildings are built taller. And so you're getting all that rain captured in a very clean way. You even have polycarbonate or something above that. Or somehow have the floor be clean so people aren't walking around on a place where water falls onto it and then makes the water dirty. Anybody on a roof should be using clean footwear anyway, but we can design it in a way that this is just not a problem. We have to maximize rain capture. We have to make it so I don't have to do this kind of bullshit like right now. Right now I have to wait now for that thing to fill up, and I don't know how long that's going to take. That's not a very big pump. And I should be timing this, I guess. Got my phone on me. Alright, so I started a few minutes ago. It's now 1:24, and I'm going to find out when it starts to overflow. What I'd like to do, I hope I have enough gasoline for this, because I didn't fully gas up the generator, because I didn't want to make it too much heavier. But if I can time this stuff, then suddenly we can actually know about how long it takes to fill up a thing. The other thing is we could have a sensor on it, a floaty thing that turns that circuit on and off. And that might be really handy if we had it on a solar power system, where the pump would go on during the day only when it sensed that the water was low. But I don't like it, because I still don't like pumps at all. So it's just bad design all around, and I don't want hack fixes or whatever people want to suggest as being a good fix, because most of the time it's bad design that makes people's lives absolutely suck. Alright, so I'm stuck out here for a while. I've got my notebook and a pen, and I've got a chair over there that looks like it's not actually broken. Astounding. It does, however, have rat shit on it. Lovely. Everything down here has rat shit on it. Every single thing. It's pretty darn frustrating. Now, you might wonder, why after a year and a half am I suddenly taking a shower? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I'm going into town tomorrow, in theory. I have enough money to buy a hard drive, because I'm out of hard drive space, which means all these videos I can no longer publish because I'm out. And I'm going to get a ride to Costco, which you probably have heard of, and I'm going to be able to buy some new clothing, since doing laundry is really a pain in the ass now. It'll become less of a pain in the ass in the rainy season, and I'll work on that. But in fact, I need to set up a whole laundry here that operates during the rainy season with just a small amount of storage for the water, so we have a big enough system to hand wash clothing, and that clothing can even soak in water, and we can have extra water moving over it and stuff, and we can swish it around, and we can make soaps out of lye, like I have hardwood ash here, oaks and stuff, and so we can make lye and make our own soap, so it'd be totally natural. Get stuff really clean, and then solar dehydrate it. It should not be line dried, because the solar radiation here will fade your clothing really fast, and then depending on how it was on the line, it will get these weird patterns on it. And so we don't want your clothing to be in solar radiation, but we want to have, just like we want to build solar dehydrators, we want to have spaces that are made for dehydrating clothes really quickly. Because also, when it's moist out, when it's humid, and when it's the rainy season, your clothes can actually mold before they dry, if they're not in a place that's made to dry them. So we need to make a whole laundry. Now, right now, I take my clothing into town to get it washed, because I don't have enough water to wash clothing here, and also because I'm lazy. But that's not the ideal system. So we need to set up an entire laundry system where people can either drop their clothes off at it, and it's a business, or people can do their own clothes if they want to save money. And hopefully either one of those options, since it's not going to be cheap in either labor or money, people will wash their clothes less than they would otherwise. And the other thing is, people are going to be cleaner, because we're going to have saunas available, so those saunas keep you clean for a longer time. And your clothes don't get as dirty then. So we have so many different pieces of the puzzle where we're saving tons of energy, living a cleaner life. Not the life I've been living, but I'm an experiment. Like, I know some people will freak out. Oh my God, he hasn't taken a shower for a year and a half. Who gives a fuck? I am a science experiment. I do things to see what the actual limits of reality are. I don't have a mother here telling me what to do. I don't even have a girlfriend here telling me what to do, or anyone around me to offend. Except you on the camera. I'm willing to offend you, because I want you to fucking think. Think about the various options we have for running society in different ways. I mean, civilization's going to collapse entirely, and then people will get really creative again. I suggest we get more creative now. get creative now with energy so that we lower our energy use. That we can't save the world doing that, because less than 1% of people are even going to make barely an effort. Yeah, people might recycle, which is kind of a bullshit fake thing anyway. The way I recycle is I save all my metal and all my glass. Now I'm lucky enough to have space to do that. I mean, I should even be saving styrofoam. You can grind it up and mix it in with cob, and you can use it as a building material. I could probably figure out something to do with plastic. That's probably my worst case if I don't know what to do with it. But all these systems fit together into making an amazingly efficient solution that we don't currently need, because we have all this fossil fuel energy, but we're going to need it really bad all of a sudden, or we'll die. That's not hyperbole. Many people are going to die because we simply didn't prepare in any way. And don't expect the government to do it, and there won't be a government to bail you out. You will have your neighbors, and you better hope they're armed, because there's going to be other neighbors who are not as nice as your neighbors. Hopefully your neighbors like you. Otherwise you won't last very long anyway. I'm trying to make my neighbors like me. I give them a lot of stuff. I train them. I'm trying to get businesses going. I lend them tools. You know, I'm trying to be a good person, and I'm protecting a forest, because a lot of people around here don't like that the forests get cut down for monoculture. They get completely destroyed. Some people even burn their forest down so they can plant monoculture crops. And so even the fact that I'm protecting the forest, diversifying it, protecting wildlife, I think I'm very much a force for good, as much as I can be. 7:24. God, I hate waiting for shit so much. See, I just want to take a shower. I mean, I've waited a year and a half. Okay, that was 7 minutes. That's not real great. Oh, I don't know how long it's going to take, and I can't just get up there and knock on it to see how far my progress is, because it's such a fucking pain in the ass to get up there. Everything is designed wrong here. And I'm trying to do things a good way. I mean, I've been here for 21 years, but all that 21 years I've been losing money hosting people who were overall a net loss, except that they educated me. They educated me in ways to make me trust people less, and make it so I know that I need to design systems that even dumb people can't fuck up, because dumb people are really good at fucking shit up. If it can be messed with, it will be. If it can be broken, it will be. If it can be stolen, it might be. I haven't had too much problems with that, but a little bit. And every time that happens, it really pisses me off, because being evil is worse than being dumb. Although dumb is pretty close to being evil. And I'm not talking about genetically, biologically dumb. I'm talking about, or people who can't speak. I'm referring to people who are willfully ignorant because they don't give a fuck about the people around them. They're willfully selfish. Being ignorant is actually evil. Wake the fuck up! Or you could stay the hell away from me and enjoy your world as it falls apart. But anybody coming into my world is going to have to learn a whole bunch of details about how we live in a different way. So when I talk about something like cultural design, it sounds kind of easy, like, okay, we'll just have like natural law, and we'll all be good people and conscientious and stuff, and let's throw some pseudo-spiritual words in there to make ourselves feel good about it. No. Every single system that could possibly exist, especially the kitchen, but every other detail, how you use firewood, if you use firewood, how we use water, how we build buildings, how we treat each other, every word we say, we certainly should be much nicer in our words than I am on video. But I don't care, because you're not a real person. Actually, that's not true. I know you individually are a real person, but I'm speaking to a general audience. So don't take the things I say too personally, unless you ought to, because we are all ignorant about something. And ultimately, we often make selfish decisions in the moment because it's the easy way to go. That's why people litter. Even in a beautiful place, it's pristine. If I have people here, I immediately have litter problems among supposedly eco-conscious, really responsible, nice people. That's because they're making in the moment a decision that's easier for them. And this is a fundamental problem in why communities fail, is because even if you get good people together, if there's a tolerance for creating waste, if there's a tolerance for damaging other people, being selfish, trying to take control over it, it's going to fail. So we have to have the control mechanisms be a defined culture that we all agree to before we join it. You can't even join a community until you've been in a community for a while. You've been evaluated, you've learned in that, and other people have learned about you, and then you can progress to other communities, and we'll trust you more and more as time goes by. There'll never be full trust. No one should fully trust me, especially not as a person in a supposedly leadership position that I don't even want to be in, luckily, which makes me a better leader probably. But I want the system itself, the defined written system, to be the leader. Humans are fallible. Humans are fallible, and I'm eventually going to die. I mean, look at this gray hair. I got gray hair up here now too. It was just my beard, but I just brushed my hair for the first time in a long time. Normally, I just use my fingers, and a bunch of hair came out of it too. So maybe I'm going to end up bald and stuff. Who knows? I guess at my age, it's amazing I have hair at all, but I guess I'm just genetically lucky. But I'm going to die, so I'm not trustworthy as a long-term leader. The leader has to be the defined social contracts that we agree to, and those can be different in different spaces. It's not a problem. We can still have massive amounts of diversity. Somebody can be in a training community, and then different communities can decide if they want to invite a person to join their community. But anybody that gets out of that system has been proven to be absolutely aware of a whole bunch of complex stuff, able to control their emotions, not reacting in anger or hurtful ways to other people, being conscious of their energy use, all of it. They have to become hyper-conscious into a culture they're not used to. So we have to train people to be in ways that they were not raised to be. We have to retrain people, which sounds pretty frightening, training camps and stuff. Well, we need that. We need to retrain who we are as human beings, because how we are now is destroying the entire planet. We're actively destroying it. Even if you think you do a few tiddly little things that are echo whatever fake green bullshit, no, you're not. You're not doing a good enough job. I mean, I've been off grid using very little for 21 years. I'm not doing a good enough job. I need to do a better job at inspiring people. Maybe I should speak in a softer and nicer, more organized and intelligent way so I can communicate to soft-minded people. No, I'm going to deal with the people who can handle it hardcore. That's what I got time for. I need to drill it into people. I want to gather the people who are pretty hardcore, and then they can speak nicer to people. They can help me, and they can do it themselves to write it up better, make training materials, make training communities, make videos and books and all that, and be engineers and figure out all the ways we can be slightly more efficient than the ways I could think up, because I'm not an engineer. I'm not an architect. I'm not even a real farmer. I mean, I have farmed, and I've done it since I was a tiny kid who was totally useless, probably just doing what my dad told me what to do. But I'm not a very specialized person. I mean, I do have some very specialized skills actually, but they're not relevant to this place exactly, unless it was me working remotely online, bringing money in from somewhere else. But my skills are in thinking about systems and things. They're fairly in your head sort of skills. Some people mistake me for a homesteader guy who can then go fix things and do things the right way. And it's no, I'm not handy at all. I mean, I've learned to do some things, but I hate doing them. I don't even like the physical world, really. If I could just live in a world of ideas, I would do that. I find the physical world to be an impediment to my enjoyment. I don't even like to eat or sleep. There's a couple exceptions of physical things I do enjoy, and you might be able to guess what those would be. But given my lifestyle, I don't even have that kind of satisfaction. So how long is this fucker going to take? And I would actually like to fill it all the way up, or run out of gas, because I'm going to have to make a gas run to town anyway, and I don't have a vehicle to do that, so I'm going to have to hire someone to buy gas for me. I'll go with them, of course. I'll do a shopping run to trip, and I'll pay them for their time and the use of their vehicle, and them as a driver. So things are in really difficult spots right now. I'm happy that things are as difficult as they are. That sounds fucked up and weird, I know. But I'm always experimenting with what is the limit? How far can I go? And I need to know that because I'm going to add technology back in very slowly. Each person that comes here is a threat. They're going to come in, they're going to say, I need this thing. I have to have it. No. I'll figure out what we fucking need here. And I'll listen to people, but mostly I'm tuning people's needs for a civilization out. Because their needs destroy shit. They enslave people. They support governments which murder people around the world. So no, we're not going to fucking play by your civilized rules and the way you destroy the world. No, not going to happen. I'll figure it out. We'll get a base. We'll see if we agree on enough things that you're willing to come here. And I'll have very defined spaces. And you can decide, oh, I like that or I don't. And if you don't like it, that's okay. I'm not even telling you you're wrong. Well, I'm kind of implying you're destroying the entire world. But, you know, you're stuck. You're just an innocent cog in a machine who doesn't know any better, probably, and you're just trying to get by. A lot of people just trying to get by, and I understand that. I'm not an actual asshole about it, even though I sound like one, I'm certain. But in this location, we can do things in different ways than they're normally done. And that's the key. And so people can enter into that system that they do like, if they do like it, and then they can graduate to other types of systems and roles and jobs. They can be trained. I can be trained to be better. I am not an example of a good person. That also makes me a better leader because I'm not going to be charismatic and say, oh, follow me because I'm super attractive and I live the best way. And I can say I'm highly intelligent. That's actually very accurate. But how you measure intelligence is also a question. I think anybody watching my videos might question my emotional intelligence, although that's how I am on video. And one might question it in regular life as well. But I do pretty well. I'm very empathetic, very conscious, and certainly not the way I am on video. I'm a different person in most ways. I'm still a chaotic wild man, in fact, in more extreme ways in some ways, but why am I smelling things that smell bad? Like burning. Fuck. God damn it. So yeah, charismatic leaders I don't trust. Oh shit. That's not good. With the exhaust of the generator hitting a propane tank. And if a propane tank blows up, that's a big problem. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll walk around a little bit. I'm just wearing slippers too, because I thought I was just going to come down here and take a shower. It's going to take me hours to take a shower. It's going to end up being like, how many hours? I don't know. I've already spent probably a couple hours just walking back and forth and checking shit. And of course, videoing it for you takes me more time, so you're wasting my time. No. I really am actually trying to help you with these videos. I'm trying to give you a real world situations where bad design fucks people up and saving money, making a system the wrong way doesn't save you money. Things should be overbuilt. They should be over-engineered. They should be over-planned. And then we should criticize that plan, redo it, fixing it until we get exactly right, and then replicate the hell out of that. Still criticizing every single implementation, since even one good solution in a different spot might not be a good solution anymore. But we can do it. We can design the way to build an entire town that's actually super functional, socially very healthy, pro-social, helping us lead happy lives with each other, while not putting concrete everywhere, having a minimal footprint on the land, turning the idea of a town inside out, so it's not sprawl. It's mostly food, forest, and park. That can be done. I'm a big believer in it. It's out there, and I haven't succeeded. Once I succeed, it will seem obvious, and people will be like, oh, that's easy. Yeah, it will be easy. Everything's easy once you know how to do it. Even this roof up here is bullshit. Like you see how the tiles up there, the roofing doesn't come over it very much, doesn't come over the edge of the wall. That's because somebody decided it was cheaper when we re-roofed this, and this was way before I knew anything, to just have it barely come over it. Well, what that means is that some rain splashes into it, and it makes it so that anything you put in there kind of opens up, and it makes it so rats can get in there, and it's just stupid. You know, overextend it. I mean, this whole roof right here is collapsing because somebody decided that they would have beams sticking out where they shouldn't be sticking out. Those beams are rotting. This entire roof is going to fall down. Also, it's just not slanted enough. So like this is a skylight that is all filled with leaves that make that bow in. It's just built wrong. So I'm tempted to just rip this entire roof down. And there's a piece of it over there that's wonky. I don't even know what the hell. Oh, I see they tried to fix it in a wonky way and it didn't fix it. And my chimney tube over here is not connected anymore because shit moves around. So that was badly designed. It should have had a 45-degree angle chimney tube going up that way. In my dreams, I will have a team of people who are completely qualified for various stages of building an entire town. And once this place is functional or has a lot of examples of functional shit going on, then I will be able to take this team and they'll do it in waves, you know, because there's early work like, you know, surveying and droning it, mapping it, designing the land use, getting access, legal issues, buying it, figuring out relations with your neighbors or whether we can buy the neighbor's land or whatever. And then, you know, then there's other teams that come in with bulldozers and make your initial roads and lakes and building sites. And then you have people building foundations for buildings. You have initial buildings that go in really fast so you can get water collected on site as soon as possible that helps you build other buildings. You have storage buildings right away to have secure location for tools and stuff. You have a generator you're using initially before you put your solar up. And then you raise the initial buildings up as fast as you can so you can house your team. Initially, your team will be in tents probably, and there's even an annual cycle of when you would start a building or a whole new town, and then how you can actually calculate how long it will take to build it. I would love to be able to build a town in 1 year. That would be an optimistic goal. It might take 2. And of course, you know, some people, early people, could start to move into the town as soon as we have housing that's more than the people constructing it need, but it's still going to be a noisy town because we're still going to have cement mixers, we're going to have transitional technologies, not everything is going to be done by hand, we're not Amish, we're going to, you know, come in and do it with whatever's the most efficient tools in this transitional period to build buildings that will last for many generations, many centuries, and be energy-wise and ecologically wise, just perfect, and support people that have the kind of culture we want to promote. That's really hard to design. The only way to do it is doing what I'm doing, which is the wrong way. I have to do a bunch of stuff the wrong way to find the right way. I'm not encouraging you to do it the wrong way. Try not to do that. Try to be smarter than me, but you know, I'm just one person. I'm not qualified to do most anything that I do. And so But we can get the right experts together. I can document enough processes. I can be really honest about what I've messed up, and we can learn from that. And then that's this amazing goal, though, is have this full team of, like, you know, I mean, it comes in stages, right? Because you've got beginning and then eventually you have finishing team. Eventually you're building furniture on site. Doesn't have to be built on site, but eventually you're you know, furnishing the whole place. And you're building spaces for businesses and building spaces for visitors and building spaces for different types of residents. And you're putting walls up and you have spots for chickens and rabbits and emus or, you know, donkeys, horses. And so we get away from the transitional technologies we make exceptions for when we're building it for the actual living in it. And then we have this inauguration where we can really say, we are done building it. That'd be amazing. And then those teams, some of them have already moved on, and they're already working on the next town. That's their role, is to build towns, fully ecological towns, not bullshit LEED certified ones that use fancy materials or things you can't get locally, You know, we can have some innovations in there, but it should be built in a way that plans that there not even be any electricity. Plan for the total collapse of civilization. And then we will have a lot of systems that give us greater luxury and convenience and efficiency now, but we should be suspicious of those entirely, since those can go away at any time. Well, that was another half hour talking. God, just waiting and waiting and waiting. And I guess I can't take a shower while I'm pumping water. Also, when I'm pumping water, because the cistern was empty, there's a bunch of junk in the cistern because those haven't been cleaned in years. And so it's going to swirl up a bunch of leaves and stuff. And so really I should wait at least a little while, maybe 15, 20 minutes, for the stuff to settle back down, so that as I use that water, I'm not clogging up my own pipes. Because my piping is not done the right way either. Nothing's done the right way here. Everything is done the cheaper way because I didn't have a lot of money to do it a better way or the right amount of knowledge. Good luck. And I hope you're supporting my project, by the way. What I'm doing, no one else is doing it this way. I have better toilets than Bill Gates came up with in his composting toilet project. They're simpler, cheaper, better for impoverished places he says he wants to help. And I actually should contact him and say, look, I want your support from your charitable organization that is trying to help people all around the world. Because I'm not just trying to help poor people. I consider really rich people to be poor, because they're going to fall hard when they fall. When industrialized civilization collapses, it's not going to be pretty. Some of the poorest people in the world will do the best, because not much will change for them. You know, they're already used to living without a lot of big systems. Other people, their entire food system will fall apart, their water system will fall apart, their sewage system will fall apart, their transportation system will fall apart, and then their culture will fall apart as people kill each other. It's going to be a fucked up mess. So I want to help the poor and the rich. And I want to help the rich. I want to seduce the rich into changing their lifestyles now, because they can see the danger that's coming and they're afraid of it. I can see the danger that's coming. I've accepted it, I guess. There's nothing I can do because nobody gives a fucking shit. All the nonprofits, all the fake green stuff that's going on, I don't trust hardly any of it. Maybe I trust some of it that occasionally I hear about a project that actually makes some sense, but almost none of it does. It's people, who get paid really well to be in these nonprofits, and they don't provide real solutions. They don't always use appropriate technology. I bet you if you go back and visit these rural poor people who were supposedly helped, that tons of those projects did not actually end up serving a real function to help those people, because they weren't culturally appropriate, they weren't technologically appropriate, they just aren't the right way to go. They're designed by people with no understanding of the actual problem set. Well, I'm living the problem set here in all kinds of complicated ways. And in the past, I've hosted a lot of people who wanted to have a lot of fun. They did. It was fun. Great. Now I want to host at least some of the people to be absolutely focused on all the shit I'm talking about. Designing a whole new way of being and all the systems involved with that. And helping to do a better job at that than I can possibly do. I can set the goals. I can set a lot of criticisms about how we need to evaluate those in really hardcore ways. But I'm not qualified to do all this shit. I'm not an architect. I need a team of architects who want to become famous because they're actually saving the world by making better buildings. I'm perfectly happy if people have big egos about it. I have a big ego about doing what I'm doing. I'm doing the best thing I know of to do in the entire world. And I quit a very well-paying corporate job to do this. I'd be a very wealthy man by now if I hadn't done that. And I'm not. I barely survive because, in truth, nobody actually gives a shit. Isn't that cheery? So yeah, if I have a way to donate to me if I'm still alive, which I'm probably not by the time you see this, but if I'm still alive, then figure out a way to donate to this shit, because it's the most honest effort I've ever heard of in the world. And it's complicated because we have such a diversity of problems to solve. We can't just solve the water problem, just solve the energy problem. Anyway, most people's energy solution is to get more energy, and it's No, we should be absolutely trying to use as little as possible as I'm running a generator burning gasoline. But as I said, I'm not doing things a perfect way. I know that. That's how we learn.